everybody, and what's up? We're back here on the All Sports Talk podcast with your co-host Justin Holland,
and Ruben Wasserman.
And this is your daily dose of sports. Today, we're joined by a special guest, Wojtek Wolski. Introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Wojtek. Happy to be here, and it's exciting what you guys are doing.
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm in Miami, so I'm happy that I'm not in Toronto in the lockdown right now. I'm with my kids, and we've been here for 5 months, and we've been able to spend some time outside and have a lot of fun with each other.
Yeah, listen, that's a lot better than here, stranded inside on cloudy days.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's a lot easier in Miami, a lot easier there. So we want to start off here. We have some great talking points that we've thought of and that we're going to talk about today. So I don't know if we can start off right away. So one of our first questions is, having worked so hard through your minor league career and having sacrificed so much, what was your initial reaction when you heard your name being called in the first round? And what kind of pressures come with being selected at such a high number?
I think I was so excited, obviously, to go to Colorado. It was one of my favorite teams growing up. I was such a big fan of Forsberg and Sakic, and to be able to be drafted by Colorado was exciting. And I guess I was proud at the same time. I think when you go in the first round, you're expected to go in the first round. You want to go as high as possible. And my first thought was that I dropped a bunch of picks. And after that, I could just think of what I was going to do that summer to try and make that team the following year. And then there was a lockout. So it was definitely kind of a roller coaster once I got drafted coming into that following year. But I think the biggest thing that I was thinking about was just trying to make that team and trying to be ready.
Yeah. So, did you feel like there was a difference with how pressured you felt, between being a first round pick and a second or a third?
I definitely think so. When you're in that first round, you're expected to come in and be able to play within the first couple of years. And I think, history has shown that even if you get drafted in the first round, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make the NHL, but those expectations are definitely there, and they want you to be a player that is impactful. And I think not only the pressures from people surrounding me, but I wanted to do a good job, and I wanted to make sure that I played in the NHL. And I'm happy that I did get that opportunity.
Yeah, I know that's a great opportunity, and obviously they believed in you because they drafted you as such a high pick. So, anyway, having played multiple seasons in both the minors and the NHL, what would you consider as the biggest difference between the two, in respect to how the game is played and the pressures that go along with it?
I think in the NHL, everybody's at their best, and there's always someone else that's wanting your job and coming along. There's a younger guy next year that was drafted, so there's a new crop every single year that's trying to break in and trying to do everything they can to stay in the NHL and get to that level and all these things. So you just got to be ready, and you can't really take a night off. And if you do, or if you have an injury, you've got to make sure that when you do come back and you get into that next game, that you're playing your best. It's a job, and you're a professional. You get paid, the big bucks. And if you're not doing your job, they get rid of you. They trade you. They cut you. They, in a sense, I guess, fire you. And that's kind of not necessarily the case in other industries. So I think it was tough. It's exciting when you do play, and I'm just happy that I got to do it for so long.
Yeah, no, you see with a lot of teams, they love to bring in depth pieces just so if something doesn't work out, they have replacements. So, yeah, definitely a lot of pressures go with it.
I guess I'll take it away with number 3. Making many teams and putting up many memorable stat lines through your career, what would you say was your biggest on-ice achievement?
I think it came towards the end of my career, being able to play in the Olympics. That's something that I just never thought would happen. I didn't know that I'd get the opportunity. I did get the opportunity. We didn't win gold, but to be able to go there, be part of the opening ceremony, win a bronze medal, and have something that I could tell my kids for the rest of my life, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. No, I agree. The opportunity to represent your country at such a high level. And, obviously for Canada, hockey is the main thing. everyone and their mother knows about hockey. So you're very widely watched throughout Canada. So yeah, no, it definitely must be a big honor.
Should I go
I
with
think
4? Or do you want? You
I'll
can go
comment
ahead.
on that. I think the one thing about playing for Team Canada is it's so tough to do. Canada could probably have 2 or 3 teams in every single Olympics, every World Championship. So the fact that I got to play for Team Canada, even like putting that jersey on, getting to keep one of those jerseys, I still wear some of the the gear that we got, the shorts, the t-shirts, and every time I put them on for a workout, I'm proud the fact that it has a Team Canada logo on it. So I hope I get another chance, maybe representing as like a coach or something like that. But who knows what the future holds.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Yeah.
player or coach, it's just a huge honor to be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go with 4, or should I take it away with 4?
You can go. You can get this one.
Okay. Playing with some of the greatest of all time, including Joe Sakic, Shane Doan, Henrik Lundqvist, and the Great Eight throughout your NHL career, who would you say was your favorite teammate, and who do you think would have been the most valuable player on and off the ice?
From those top guys, like those superstar players, I think Joe Sakic is probably my favorite. He was an incredible leader, and sometimes when you hear about those players, you know, people talk about them in a certain way, and you don't know if it's true or if it's not. And sometimes you find out, and you're a little disappointed once you do get to meet him. But Joe was really everything that everyone said about him, and he was an incredible leader and fun to play with, and I got to play on a line with him, and I'm not surprised that he's leading the Colorado Avalanche now, and he's an exec there, and I'm just really grateful that I got to have him be a part of my career so early to see how amazing he was and to learn from him.
I know. I mean, there are so many players, but I mean, I was not alive for Joe Sakic, his prime. But from what I've heard from my dad and other people, he's just amazing, and he was amazing, and got some good insight from you. And it turns out he was great on and off the ice. So
Yeah, he really was.
Yeah.
yep. All right. So when you played with Sidney Crosby at the 2003 U18 World Junior Championships, were you able to see like the potential that he had in being a generational talent, like he had turned out to be?
Definitely. He was my roommate at that tournament, and you
Cool.
could just see the way that he prepared, and he was already ahead of a lot of the other guys. He was a year younger than us, but he was already so focused, so motivated, and everything he did, from the way that he practiced and he trained and played, he definitely set himself apart from all the other players there.
Yeah. I remember, even like I wasn't alive yet, but I sometimes I read about these old like articles about Sidney Crosby, like about these ridiculous numbers he put up about how like comparing like how good he was even at such a young age. Like as you mentioned, he was a year younger than you at the time, but still more prepared than most. So that's interesting. But also you can kind of see that. Anyway, we're going to go with 7.
Sure.
Number 6.
Many people don't know this about you, but you suffered a pretty severe injury towards the end of your career. Having suffered an injury as severe as the one you had, many, if not most, players would have hung up their skates and called it quits. You came back after 8 months in what I would consider nothing short of inspirational. What would you say motivated you the most to return? And what would you tell others who are going through something similar?
I think you got to find a goal for yourself and have something to work towards. And I think for me, it was a couple different things. I had heard the Olympics were coming up and the NHL players might not be a part of it. That was definitely one thing that motivated me, thinking that, if I come back, I might have a chance to play in the Olympics. And that really fueled me to take my rehab so seriously and to try and come back as quickly as possible so I could try and make that team. I also had children at the time, and that was another motivating factor for me, not just for hockey, but just to be able to come back from that injury and be able to play sports with my kids and make sure that I took care of myself properly so I could take care of them and play with them. And when I started thinking about how I wanted them to view me and view that injury and being able to look back on that injury and tell my kids, I went through something really, really tough, but I didn't give up. I worked hard, and I think I'll definitely use that as a learning tool and a learning experience for them to be able to say, if things don't go your way, it's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fall down. You got to keep going. You got to just, give yourself some time and keep working hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Um, yeah, I mean, everything you said just sounds correct. Question 7 here. What was similar to what we asked previously? What was your first reaction when you got the call or when you found out that you had made the Olympic team that you're going to Pyeongchang?
It was actually exactly a year after I had my surgery for my neck. So I remember that picture popping up on my iPhone as a memory. And as soon as they told me that, I'd made the team, I broke down in tears, and I remember just crying and being, just like it was just such a crazy moment to think of everything I had been through and that it was all worth it. And it just felt really good to get that call, and I was very emotional. And I remember wanting to call my family and tell them about it right away, but I was speechless, and I think just tears were flowing down my face.
Yeah. Like, so would you say that, like, did you expect to make the team? Like,
I was having a pretty strong year in the KHL. I believed I was, one of the more talented Canadian players that were out there at the time that weren't in the NHL. So my expectation was that I was going to make the team, but there were a lot of good guys that could have been there that could have taken my spot. And you never know how you're going to fit into a team because you could be one of the best players, but maybe you're not the right fit for a certain position that they want you to play. And that's the incredible thing about the Olympics when you see those top players. Whenever they announce the team, you have, say there's 25 players, give or take. There's 18 captains on the team. Guys that play the exact same position. Every guy on that team plays on the power play. Some of those guys don't necessarily maybe kill penalties with their team, but all of a sudden they're asked to go to the Olympics or go to a world championship and do something that they're not used to, but they're going to have to help the team somehow. So you never know who's going to get picked and how a team is going to come together. So I was just really happy that I got picked and that I got to play.
yeah, no, that's definitely it's an honor. I mean, if I'm looking at like all these mock Team Canada as the NHL allows their players to go to the Olympics, I see all these all stars on the fourth line. I just wonder like how will they like adapt to like playing fourth line minutes, whereas in the NHL they play like 25 minutes a night.
Yeah, and it doesn't always work, right? That's the hardest thing about putting those teams together is that they might choose a guy that doesn't want to play 10 minutes in a game or 12 minutes in a game, and maybe he doesn't take it the right way, but they seem to always figure it out, and they have so many great leaders on those teams that I think the older guys they can really influence all the other guys.
Yeah, no, I could not agree more. Um, so yeah, I think that's all we have right now.
Yeah.
Another point is sometimes you look at former Olympic teams and you say, why was this player not on this team versus this player? And that you have to think about it, and then you sort of realize it's a scheme. Like the fourth line minutes maybe wouldn't go to a superstar, so they're putting this guy who can kill penalties and be a great defensive player there.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't think it's easy doing what they do, and every time you see a GM and those lists come out of those players, they're always asking, "Oh, why didn't this guy make it? Why didn't that guy make it?" And then they win gold, and everyone says, he's they made all the right decisions." And really, it's so close every single year, and those games go to overtime. It's one game in the semifinals or the finals, and you never know who's going to win. And I think they're all just trying their best to put a team together that's going to win a gold medal for Canada.
Yeah, no, I agree. Also, here's another one. Which team did you feel at the beginning of the season, like, were you most confident that they would win the Stanley Cup, like, out of every team you played? every year?
Oh wow. I only think the one year when I was in Colorado and I had my best year, we had a lot of young guys that were playing really well, and I thought that my last year in Colorado, that was the year when I got traded. I thought maybe we had a chance. Maybe we would pick some guys up at the trade deadline and we could make a run for it. I never made it to the trade deadline. I actually got traded on the trade deadline on that
Yeah.
day. I went to Phoenix, and then I actually had a great group of guys in Phoenix. And I thought we actually could make a good run, and we lost to Detroit in Game 7. And I think Detroit made it to the finals that year when we lost them. So it's really, really tough to win the Stanley Cup. And I was actually telling my son about it today, that I wish I, would have had that chance to win one, but it doesn't happen, and it really goes by fast. And you got to take the opportunities that you get and make the best of them, and work hard. And when you're there, you got to give it everything you can, because you might not get that chance again. And it'll definitely be something that I look back on, and I wish I would have been able to do as a player.
Yeah, well, I mean, anyone in the NHL who wasn't able to win a cup would think the exact same thing. But I mean, you went to the Olympics, you went to the World Juniors, you had a pretty good NHL career. You got drafted in the first round. You can't get everything, I guess.
No, you can't. I'm very grateful, and I'm happy with the experiences that I had and what I did.
Yeah, I mean, so would anyone else. It's pretty cool experiences. Ruben, do you have any final comments here?
No, just
I'm
thank you for
just
coming on.
Yeah,
Oh, of course. I'm happy that you guys had me
it
on.
was really
and,
great having you on.
You guys did a great job, and keep going.
Thank you.
All right.
ladies
We'll
and
speak. I'll
gentlemen,
see you in Toronto when I'm back, maybe.
Awesome.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Wojtek Wolski. I mean, what a great experience. What great insight he had. Ruben, I'm pretty sure you can agree with me here.
Yeah. I might not have said much, but I was just processing everything and taking it all in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was pretty cool. Lots of good insight.
Because that's
So
something
that's gonna,
you want to take in.
yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, so I mean, that's all we have today. Pretty good one. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, and see you next
And
time.
the Blue Jays won.
Let's go Blue Jays.